Dawn on the mountain begins like an ancient hymn of the earth. The mist slowly dissolves, revealing the first rays of sunlight streaming through the canopy, illuminating the valley still soaked with night's dew. Each droplet sparkles like a jewel, trembling in the breeze, scattering countless shades of light. Birds call out with clarity. The stream murmurs in the distance, and the forest itself whispers stories of centuries gone by. Amidst this sacred beauty, a golden leaf trembles and releases its hold, drifting gently before touching the moist ground and shifting in color. That simple scene carries an eternal message. All things are passing. All things are transforming. The old monk sits quietly on a moss-covered stone, his gentle eyes following the falling leaf as his mind recalls his youth. In those days, he believed youth was endless, strength unshakable, and loved ones everlasting. Yet the hidden current of time gradually dissolved that innocent belief. He saw his dark hair turn to silver, his parents depart into the beyond, his companions scatter along different paths. Once this might have left him grieving, but now he simply smiles, for impermanence has given him its most precious lesson. Impermanence does not come to steal, but to remind. Nothing can be held forever, and for that very reason, every moment is invaluable. If blossoms never faded, would we ever cherish their fragrance? If words endured eternally, would we pour our hearts fully into each one we speak? Fragility makes each presence in life a miracle. Silver hair is no end, but a record of a life well lived. The departure of loved ones is not absolute loss, but continuation within the endless cycle of birth and death. Like the golden leaf falling, breaking down to nourish new spring shoots, every change is part of life's rhythm. With the eyes of impermanence, the monk learned humility. Existence does not unfold to serve our will, but to remind us that we are only a small current within the boundless stream. Amidst the rush of worldly life, impermanence rings like a bell, urging us to pause, to take a deep breath in and a slow breath out, realizing each breath is unique. No two breaths are the same, just as no moment is repeated. Place your hand upon your chest now. Feel the steady beating of your heart. Each pulse affirms that you are alive. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, then exhale slowly, sensing the air entering and leaving, warm then cool, heavy then light. Even the stillness you feel shifts, shaped by sounds, movements, and fleeting thoughts. Impermanence is woven not only outside, but within every fiber of your being. To recognize it is to be freed. No longer must you clutch at what cannot be kept. No longer must you fear change, for it is life's very nature. Instead of resisting, you learn to welcome and to revere. Each day you awaken, hearing the birds, breathing this air is a priceless gift. In this moment, the distant sound of a bamboo flute arises, blending with the mountain wind flowing through the pines. The simple, resonant tone feels like the breath of the earth, carrying the soul into serenity. You sit, letting its music soothe your mind, letting the cool air brush your skin, until you suddenly realize you are one with the vastness around you. Impermanence is no longer an abstract concept, but a living truth in each breath, each moment. And because everything must one day pass, what stands before you now is infinitely precious. After the night's rain, the wide field seemed freshly washed. On the young rice stalks, droplets of water glistened under the morning sun, sparkling like jewels reflecting the sky. In the distance, a stone fell into the river, sending out ripples that spread endlessly to the farthest shore. From such a scene, we are reminded that no action passes without meaning, just as no stone touches water without leaving waves. Life follows the same truth. Every thought, every word, every gesture sows a seed that will later bear fruit. There is an old story of a humble farmer. One day he met a stranger who had lost his way, hungry and weary. Without hesitation, he brought the man home, shared his simple meal, and guided him further. Many years later, when a devastating flood struck the village, that very same traveler returned by chance, bringing help that saved the farmer's entire family. Sitting safely under his roof, listening to the roar of the flood outside, the farmer realized in awe that a small kindness from the past, thought long forgotten, had become the lifeline of the present. Karma and cause and effect are not mystical, but the natural flow of life. Like a seed planted in the soil, meeting sun and rain, it sprouts, grows, and becomes a tree that offers shade. Karma moves silently, yet with certainty. If we plant a smile, it may blossom into joy in someone's heart. If we plant harsh words, they may return one day as an arrow. Karma is impartial and leaves nothing unaccounted for. It simply reflects the seeds we plant. Now, let your mind return to a simple memory. Perhaps when you extended your hand to help someone cross a street, or when you comforted a friend in sadness. Imagine that act as a seed that has now taken root, sprouted and grown into a tree, then into a forest of shade. That forest does not exist only for one person, but extends its blessings to countless others, even to those you have never met. This image is proof that even the smallest act of goodness never disappears. It may bear fruit in places you could never predict. In the stillness, let the sound of soft rain resonate, each drop like a wholesome seed falling into the soil, patiently waiting to sprout. The steady rhythm of the wooden drum echoes in the distance, reminding us that the law of cause and effect is neither rushed nor delayed. It simply continues, silently and faithfully, beyond our control. Knowing this, we become more mindful in our thoughts and more compassionate in our actions, for we understand that every seed we plant today is the very forest we shall walk into tomorrow. On the rustic wooden table, the oil lamp's glow falls upon a bowl of steaming white rice. Beside it, a plate of simple green vegetables and a cup of warm water. There is no luxury, no extravagance, yet this scene radiates a rare beauty. Wisps of steam rise and dissolve into the air, reminding us that everything present is fleeting, vanishing in an instant. This is not just a meal,
but an opportunity to return, to live fully in the most ordinary of moments. In an ancient temple, a Zen master once held a grain of rice in his hand. He lifted it up for his disciples to see and said slowly, "Within this small grain of rice lies the sun, the rain, the wind, and the farmer's hands. The entire universe is contained in this grain." His words left the students silent. A grain of rice seems ordinary, but when we look deeply, the whole cosmos reveals itself. The sun has shone to let the rice ripen. The rain and wind have nourished the soil. The farmer's hands have planted, tended, and harvested. Even the bowl, the chopsticks, the flame in the kitchen, all have come together to bring forth this grain. So when we bring it to our lips, we are not just eating rice, we are receiving life itself. The Master's lesson was that mindfulness is not found only in meditation halls, but in the simplest acts, even in the daily meal. For in the ordinary, the deepest truths may be discovered. If our minds are awake, everything becomes a miracle. Imagine now you hold a spoonful of rice. Do not rush. Pause for a moment. Look closely and see its whiteness. Breathe in and feel the gentle fragrance rising. As you place the rice in your mouth, chew slowly, letting the flavor spread. You will notice the subtle sweetness, pure and simple, as though each ray of sunshine, each drop of rain, and each drop of sweat from the farmer is present there. Each mindful bite is a step of return, a reminder that you are alive. Mindfulness does not require leaving this life to seek some distant realm. It is here in every sip of water, in washing dishes, in listening to the birds in the garden. Every act can be practice when we are fully present. And with that, life becomes lighter, for we are no longer caught in past regrets or future worries, but anchored in the present moment. The student who once heard these words began to practice mindful eating. At first it was difficult, as his mind was used to wandering, dwelling on unfinished tasks or lost opportunities. Yet little by little, through each meal, he changed. He no longer ate unconsciously, but saw each grain of rice as a gift. Gratitude arose. Gratitude to the sun, the rain, the earth, the hands of labor, and the sheer fortune of having food on the table. That gratitude brought peace to his heart. You too can practice now. Picture before you a bowl of rice. Lift a small spoonful. Inhale and let the fragrance fill your lungs. As you chew slowly, let your mind settle, leaving nothing but you and the rice, nothing but the taste unfolding. Each mindful bite is a step of return, a small yet profound miracle. And when you succeed, you will realize you are not only feeding the body, but nourishing the mind as well. Let the sounds around you call you back to presence. The crackling of the hearth is the beating heart of the home. The chirping crickets in the garden are whispers of the night. These sounds do not distract, but weave themselves into the stillness, helping you recognize more deeply that you are here, living, present. In that presence, you touch true happiness, not dependent on anything outside, but arising from simply being with yourself. Mindfulness in every act is not a distant philosophy, but a way home. When you wash a dish in awareness, you also cleanse your mind. When you walk slowly with awareness, you walk on the path of liberation. And when you eat a grain of rice with full attention, you are eating the universe itself, blending into the vast flow of life.
The afternoon descends upon the monastery courtyard. Golden rays of sunlight stretch across the old stone floor. Dozens of monks in brown robes sweep the yard together, their slow and steady movements forming a quiet symphony. No one rushes, no one competes. Each simply blends into the collective rhythm. Each sweep of the broom, seemingly repetitive, becomes a meditative song, binding each person to one another and to the vast space around them. From afar, it is not individual monks who are seen working, but a harmonious flow of a community, like one great body breathing and moving as one. Within this rhythm, a truth is revealed. Life is not only about the solitary I, but also about the greater we. There was once a man who lived in isolation. For years, he clung to what he could call his own, believing happiness came from possession, his own room, his own work, his own comforts. Yet the more he withdrew, the emptier his heart became. One day, he was invited to join the villagers in planting a communal garden. At first, he participated half-heartedly, expecting nothing. But as he sowed seeds alongside others, watered together, and shared laughter among the rows of plants, a new joy emerged. The garden did not belong to anyone in particular, yet it brought happiness to all. As the plants grew, not only was there food to share, but bonds of connection began to sprout. He realized that joy does not always arise from what we keep, but from what we share. True happiness does not isolate, it expands through connection. In Buddhist teachings, all things exist in interdependence. A flower cannot bloom without the sun, the rain, the soil, and the gardener's care. Humans are no different. None of us exists alone. Every breath we take depends on the trees. Every grain of rice comes from countless hands of labor. Even our bodies were formed by parents, ancestors, and innumerable conditions. We are the result of a community, and in turn, we help create community. When we forget this truth, we feel lonely. When we remember, we feel supported by a vast web of love. You may now try a small practice. Close your eyes and imagine a warm wave within your heart. First, send this wave to your family, those closest to you, as a silent blessing. May they be safe, healthy, and happy. Then extend it to your friends, companions in life. Broaden it further to strangers you have never met, to faces on the street, even to those you dislike. Let this wave of loving kindness expand like ripples on water, spreading wider and wider until it embraces the entire world. You may notice your heart softening, no longer rigid or closed. Connection does not diminish you. It makes you fuller, richer. In the stillness, listen to the chanting from afar. The deep and steady voices rise and fall like a stream flowing through rocks, continuous and serene. The sound is not loud, but it soothes the heart, reminding us that community is like this stream. Each drop of water joins to form its flow. Each voice merges into one resonance. When we connect with others through loving kindness, we too add our voice to the great song of life. Today's world often glorifies the individual self, making us feel separate. Yet beneath that illusion, we remain part of an intricate web. To see interconnection and community is to no longer feel alone. We realize that one person's suffering belongs to all, and one person's joy can lift many. Living with a communal heart, we learn to release selfishness and open to compassion. Personal happiness becomes shared happiness, and shared happiness returns to nurture each individual. As you picture monks sweeping together, remember that each sweep of the broom is proof of harmony. No sound is out of place because each monk acts for the common good. If in our daily lives we could live this way, creating collective rhythms of cooperation, then society would become an ocean of love where no one is left behind. Carry this practice into your daily life. When you smile at someone, you give a gift to the community. When you listen with patience, you calm a hidden storm. When you send a blessing, you plant a seed of goodness in our shared soil, and all of it will return to nourish you, just as the communal garden bore fruit for all who planted its seeds.
In the silent night of the ancient temple, candlelight flickers, casting its glow on moss-covered walls. One candle is lit, and from its flame, hundreds more are kindled. Miraculously, the light does not diminish, but spreads, brightening the space, warming the air, and illuminating faces with shared radiance. Each candle is a life, each flame uniting to dispel the darkness. This is the perfect image of compassion and gratitude. When we give, we do not lose, but both giver and receiver are enriched. The flame of the heart, once shared, never runs dry. It becomes an inexhaustible source of nourishment for the world. There was an orphan child who grew up amidst scarcity, loneliness, and pain. Yet along the way, he was never completely alone. Anonymous hands reached out. Someone gave him a bowl of rice when hungry. An old woman offered him a coat when cold. A passerby shared a smile when he was in despair. These small, simple acts were candles lit in his darkness, nurturing a belief that the world still held love. That seed grew with him, and as an adult, he became a pillar for others. He sheltered the homeless, cared for abandoned children, and comforted those in despair. He discovered that his deep gratitude had blossomed into compassion, and the only true way to repay kindness was to pass on the warmth he had received. In Buddhist teaching, compassion and gratitude are inseparable. Looking deeply, we see that we do not exist independently. Each breath is thanks to the trees, each grain of rice thanks to the rain, the soil, and the farmer's labor. Even our bodies are the result of parents, ancestors, and countless conditions converging. When this is realized, gratitude naturally arises, and from it, compassion blooms. We long to repay life, to share, to ease others' suffering. Like the candle in the temple, once lit, it cannot keep the flame to itself, but naturally spreads, kindling others. Now you may practice metta meditation, loving kindness. Sit quietly, relax your body, and let your breath slow and deepen. First, turn inward. May I be safe, healthy, and happy. Do not rush. Let these words seep into your breath, your heartbeat, reminding you that you too deserve love. Only when you love yourself can you love others without condition. Then extend your circle to family and friends. May they be safe, healthy, and happy. Imagine your heart as a candle, its light spreading to your loved ones. Next, extend compassion to strangers, faces on the street, people you have never met. Think, may all beings be well. Finally, include those with whom you have quarreled or who have hurt you. You need not forgive instantly, only wish them peace, for in freeing them from suffering, you free yourself. Let this wave of compassion expand like ripples on a pond, beginning in your heart and reaching the world. You may notice your heart softening, no longer closed, but opening wide. In this expansion, you sense that you are not separate, but part of the heartbeat of all beings. In the silence, listen to the gentle sound of strings, occasionally joined by the clear ring of a bell. The music flows like cool water, washing away weariness, dissolving the rough edges of the heart. It shows you that compassion and gratitude are not abstract, but living experiences unfolding in this moment. If you carry this practice into everyday life, even the smallest act becomes light. A smile to a stranger, a patient ear, a helping hand, all are continuations of the flame of compassion. And as the light spreads, it illuminates you as well. Compassion not only soothes others' pain, but heals your own heart, freeing it from dryness and loneliness. The ancients said, "The grateful are the richest." Indeed, with gratitude, nothing is lacking, for all is seen as gift. And the compassionate are the happiest, for such joy depends not on external conditions, but flows from an open heart. When gratitude fills us, life overflows. When compassion arises, freedom is found. When the two converge, we become an inexhaustible candle, helping dispel the darkness and lighting the world.
After the storm, the sea no longer roars. Waves still rise and fall, but not with the same violence that once made onlookers tremble. On the horizon, the dark clouds break apart, and the first light of day begins to shine. In that light, the surface of the sea glitters, reflecting golden streaks as though the ocean itself, having endured rage, now returns to a slower, calmer breath. This scene mirrors the human heart after suffering, at first overwhelmed by tempests, but eventually settling, revealing new clarity. No pain lasts forever, just as no storm endures endlessly. What matters is how we respond in the midst of the storm. There is an old tale of a farmer and his horse. One day, his prized horse ran away. Neighbors came to console him, calling it misfortune. The farmer simply smiled. Who knows? Days later, the horse returned with a herd of wild horses. The neighbors congratulated him on his luck. Still, he replied, "Who knows?" Soon after, his son broke his leg trying to ride one of the wild horses. Again, the neighbors pitied him. Again, he said, "Who knows?" Later, when the kingdom conscripted the village's young men for war, the son was spared because of his broken leg. The story is simple but profound. What we call fortune may conceal misfortune, and what we call misfortune may contain hidden blessings. Life cannot be judged immediately, for its flow is vaster than our short sight. In Buddhist teaching, suffering is called the first of the Four Noble Truths. Life contains suffering, sickness, loss, separation, disappointment, aging. But suffering is not meant to torment, it is meant to awaken. Without suffering, we might remain lost in ignorance, believing all things last forever. Through suffering, we see fragility. We learn to treasure what is present. We are moved to seek liberation. The problem is not whether suffering exists, but how we react to it. Often we resist suffering, despise it, try desperately to expel it. That very resistance becomes a second arrow, as the Buddha described. The first arrow is the pain of circumstance. The second arrow is the mind's reaction, anger, blame, resentment. If we recognize it, we need not fire the second arrow.
We need not deny pain. We need only name it. Pain, tension, fear. By naming it, we step outside identification. We see suffering as a passing cloud in the sky, not as the sky itself. Try it now. Take a deep breath in and exhale slowly. If there is discomfort in your body, tension in your shoulders, a sting in your chest, pause, breathe, and name it. Pain, tension, fatigue. Do not judge it. Do not blame your body for producing it. Do not force it away. Simply breathe with it. Give it space in your awareness. Then, like waves after a storm, it will soften, ease, and eventually fade. This practice is like sitting by the shore, watching waves rise and fall, knowing none of them lasts. In the silence, imagine standing on the beach after a night storm. In the distance, the sea still murmurs, but more gently, blended with the sound of the wind. This is nature's eternal song, reminding us that every upheaval has its rhythm. So too with your mind. Though storms may come, if you return to the breath, to observation without judgment, you will rediscover the rhythm of peace. People often ask, why is there suffering? The answer does not lie in blaming fate or others. Suffering is part of conditions, the result of countless intertwined causes. We cannot avoid all of it, nor can we control all of it, but we can choose how to walk with it. Instead of asking, why me? We can ask, what can I learn from this? That shift in questioning itself opens the door to freedom. Like the farmer in the story, we need not label events immediately, nor rush to conclude fortune or misfortune. Life is larger than our momentary view. If we can cultivate such equanimity, we will see suffering not as an enemy, but as part of life's river, carrying us forward in growth. Suffering can knock us down, yet it can also make us resilient. It can close one door while opening another. The goal is not to avoid every storm, but to learn to stand firm within them. When we breathe with suffering, we see the dawn rising, like the sky after a storm, and our hearts glitter again, like the sea at sunrise.
On an autumn afternoon, the stream winds through the sparse forest, golden light falling on the water, making it sparkle like a silver ribbon. The current carries fallen leaves and broken branches from upstream. Though it bears these remnants, the water remains clear and cool, never clinging, never halting, simply flowing on. This scene is a living lesson on letting go and forgiveness. Life may give us burdens, but if we let them drift away like leaves on the water, our hearts remain pure and free. There is a well-known Zen story about two monks traveling together. They came upon a woman by a river, unable to cross because the current was strong. One monk lifted her onto his back and carried her across. Once across, he set her down and walked on without a word. The other monk stayed silent, but his mind grew uneasy. Hours later, unable to hold back, he said, "Brother, we are monks. We should not touch a woman. Why did you do that?" The first monk simply smiled. "I set her down hours ago, but you are still carrying her." The story is simple yet profound. We often carry invisible burdens in our hearts: anger, resentment, hurt, memories of past pain. The event itself may have lasted only a moment, yet we carry it for years, letting it weigh us down. Letting go and forgiving does not mean forgetting completely, nor denying the pain. It is choosing to release what no longer serves us, so we may be free. Like the stream, it does not stop leaves from falling, but it does not cling to them, keeping itself clear. In Buddhist teaching, forgiveness is not only a gift for others, but also a gift for ourselves. When we hold on to anger, we drink poison, hoping the other will suffer. Yet it is we who are consumed first. Forgiveness is not condoning or erasing the past. It is ceasing to allow pain to imprison us. When we release, we free not only the other, but our own hearts. Try a simple practice. Close your eyes and imagine a heavy burden on your shoulders.
It may be the memory of an argument, harsh words, or a sense of injustice. Feel its weight. Shoulders tight, back tense, breath heavy. Now picture yourself slowly setting it down. As you release it, notice your shoulders lighten, your spine straighten, your breath ease. This is the freedom forgiveness offers. Letting go is not easy, nor can it be forced. But by acknowledging and practicing step by step, its power unfolds. Each time an old memory arises, breathe deeply and name it: anger, hurt, resentment. Then smile gently, reminding yourself you need not carry it anymore. You can let it flow away like a yellow leaf in the stream. In silence, imagine sitting by the brook. The water trickles over stones, clear and tender. Birds sing in the distance, echoing through the stillness. These sounds invite you back to the present, where there is no heavy past, no anxious future, only the living moment flowing fresh and cool. In that moment, your heart feels open, like the stream itself, carrying troubles away. The one who clings to resentment is like the second monk, carrying an unseen burden for miles. The one who lets go is like the flowing water, moving on regardless of fallen leaves. Practicing forgiveness is learning to live like the stream, keeping the heart clear. Forgiveness is not because the other deserves it, but because you deserve peace. When we live with letting go and forgiveness, the world around us also softens. Conflicts no longer burn away happiness, but pass like drifting leaves. We smile at others' mistakes, knowing we too have erred. We release judgment and see with compassionate eyes. Most of all, we learn to forgive ourselves for mistakes, for wounds, for imperfections. For only in forgiving ourselves can we truly love others. Letting go and forgiveness are paths to freedom. They cannot change the past, but they change how we carry it. They cannot erase scars, but they keep scars from ruling us. Like the autumn stream, still carrying leaves and twigs, yet remaining clear and cool, we too can live unburdened. When we learn to flow as the stream flows, we find true peace.
On a distant mountainside, there is a winding path leading to the summit. Its stone steps are polished smooth by years of rain and countless footsteps. Each stone tells the story of pilgrims who have walked there, some seeking enlightenment, some peace, some simply a sense of belonging. Standing before the path, one feels small before the vastness, yet also understands that with steady steps, one can go far. Each step becomes part of the journey, and that journey is the noble eightfold path, the way to liberation and peace. There was once a young man who traveled everywhere in search of happiness. He believed happiness lay in faraway lands, in wealth and prestige. He crossed cities, mountains, and deserts, hoping to find a door to lasting joy. But the farther he went, the emptier he felt. Every treasure faded, every joy vanished quickly. One day, exhausted, he sat by a mountain path and watched his own feet stepping upon the ground. In that moment, he realized happiness was not in a distant goal, but in mindful presence with each step. Every breath was a miracle, every grounded step a homecoming. From then on, he understood that the eightfold path is not found outside, but lived daily in each moment where we stand. The eightfold path is the way the Buddha taught to transcend suffering. It is not a rigid rule, nor a harsh command, but 8 elements that nourish one another. Right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Right view
helps us see the impermanent, unsatisfactory, and selfless nature of life. Right thought nurtures compassion and releases hatred. Right speech guides us toward truthful and kind words. Right action is wholesome conduct, harming neither ourselves nor others. Right livelihood is earning a living without causing suffering.
Right effort avoids laziness and tension, sustaining perseverance like a flowing stream. Right mindfulness is awareness in each breath, each act. Right concentration is the mind's stability, steadfast as a mountain. When these 8 factors flow together, life becomes clear, light, and free. You need not climb a mountain or enter a temple to walk this path. You can begin now. Whether sitting or lying down, imagine yourself walking slowly. Feel your foot touch the ground. Notice the steadiness of each step. Let your breath harmonize with the rhythm, like a soft melody. Each step is a return, not a journey outward, but inward to the present. In doing so, the Eightfold Path is no longer a concept, but a living experience unfolding in body and mind. In the silence, you may hear the sound of footsteps on gravel, steady and sure. This simple sound becomes the music of presence. It is not loud nor dramatic, but its rhythm reminds you that peace is found in each step. The young man finally understood that life does not promise a land of happiness at the horizon. Mindful steps themselves are the destination. Each mindful breath is a treasure. Each grounded step, a garden in bloom. Walking the Eightfold Path, we stop chasing illusions and begin living in truth. And that truth is here, this breath, this step, this moment. Bringing the spirit of the Eightfold Path into daily life, you will notice transformation. Instead of being swept away by emotions, you pause, breathe, and see clearly. Instead of careless words, you choose nourishing ones. Instead of chasing endless desires, you rest in sufficiency. Instead of constant tension, you find ease in small acts. Gradually, you find your soul becoming like the mountain path, smoothed by storms, yet steadfast, strengthened by countless mindful steps before you.
From the high mountain peak, the view stretches endlessly. Below lies a vast valley, clouds drifting lazily, fields of green and gold, and a river winding gently through villages. Sitting there, one feels not only on a mountaintop, but on the summit of awareness, where every small detail merges into a greater harmony. Up close, one sees only grass, rocks, and uneven paths. From above, one sees the whole, where even roughness has its place in the grand design. This is the essence of panoramic wisdom, seeing beyond fragments, perceiving the larger flow of life.
There was once a painter who toiled for years at his canvas. He tried to perfect every detail, but the more he painted, the more dissatisfied he became. He saw only flaws, awkward lines, colors that displeased him. One day, weary, he stepped back from the easel. In that instant, he was astonished. From a distance, the entire painting came alive, vibrant and harmonious. The clumsy strokes and odd colors blended together to form a work of beauty. He realized life is the same. When we fixate on one pain, one loss, it looms large. But when we step back, we see it as part of a greater picture, giving depth to the whole. In Buddhism, this panoramic vision is called wisdom. Wisdom is not mere cleverness to outwit others, but the capacity to see things as they are, to perceive causes and conditions, to understand interconnection. With wisdom, we do not get trapped in fragments of life. We know that any event, however great, is only a part of vast interdependent causes. We know today's suffering may open tomorrow's path, and today's joy may hide seeds of challenge. All are strokes in life's painting, and only when we step back can we see its harmony. You can practice this now. Close your eyes and imagine yourself on a mountaintop. From there, look back at your life as if gazing down at a valley. See your childhood with innocent joys and early wounds. See your years of striving with ambitions, failures, and triumphs. See losses, separations, and days of happiness. All arrange into a river's flow, sometimes turbulent, sometimes calm, yet continuous. In this view, struggles are no longer enemies, but necessary strokes shaping the whole. In the silence, hear the mountain wind, carrying cool freshness. Hear distant birds, their song accenting the stillness. Let these sounds guide you deeper into contemplation, where you are freed from fixation on single details, seeing instead the vast unfolding of life. You may recognize that even the pains you once cursed helped shape your present self. Gratitude arises, not only for joys, but also for trials, for together they formed who you are. In daily life, when suffering strikes, we often ask, "Why me?" Panoramic wisdom leads us to another question: where does this fit in the larger picture? Asking this way, we reduce bitterness, release blame. We begin to see ourselves not as isolated victims, but as part of the flowing web of conditions where everything has its place. Life is not a series of disconnected events, but a painting in progress, where each line and color matters. Like the painter, you can learn to step back, not obsessing over flaws or hurts. Step back, and harmony emerges. Meaning is revealed. With this, you live with a larger heart, less bound by small irritations, less shaken by storms. Panoramic wisdom grants us the eyes of the mountain, to see life not as fragments, but as a vast, ever-changing, and mysteriously beautiful whole.
In the early morning, Before the sun rises high, a drop of dew rests on a flower's petal, glistening like a jewel gifted by nature. Children play in the yard, their laughter ringing bright and pure. At night, insects hum their steady chorus, reminding us that life continues in every moment. These seemingly small things, when we pause to see and hear them, become treasures beyond measure. The simple joy of the present moment is always here, waiting for us to notice and embrace it. Long ago, there was a traveler who searched the world for a treasure chest he believed held perfect happiness. He climbed mountains, crossed rivers, and wandered through deserts, enduring hardship, yet driven by hope. One day, weary from years of searching, he sat down by the roadside. There he noticed a dewdrop sparkling in sunlight, the sound of children's laughter, and the fragrance of grass in the wind. Suddenly, he realized the treasure was not in some distant land, but in the present moment itself. From then on, he no longer chased illusions, but learned to cherish each ordinary instant. This story teaches us that happiness is not something outside our reach, waiting in some future condition. We often believe we need more, go further, achieve greater things before we can be happy. But in this endless search, we overlook what is already here. True happiness does not wait for tomorrow, for a grand success or a rare event. It is found in this breath, in the sound of birds outside, in a simple meal, in the gaze of a loved one. Recognizing this, life becomes immeasurably rich. You can practice now. Relax your body, smile gently, and whisper in your heart, "Thank you. Thank you for breathing, for being alive, for hearing, seeing, feeling." Then choose at least one thing in this very moment to be grateful for. It might be the cool breeze on your skin, the gentle sound around you, or simply the steady beat of your heart. Let gratitude spread through you like a warm current. When you do this, you discover joy is here, not far away, but right here, right now. In the silence, imagine the soft notes of a piano falling slowly like drops of dew. The music does not boast, but simply carries the soul, helping you sense the deep stillness of the present. In that stillness, smiles become genuine, breaths become precious, and the heart opens to life as it is. When you walk through life with this attitude, ordinary things become miracles. A wildflower by the road makes you pause in wonder. A friendly greeting warms your whole day. A sip of cool water becomes happiness itself. The joy of the present moment is never missing. It only waits for us to stop overlooking it. The traveler once spent his life searching for treasures abroad, but the real treasure was always close at hand. We too often chase after a better tomorrow, forgetting that today is already miraculous.
If you pause, breathe, smile, and whisper, "Thank you," you will find your treasure right here in the present moment.
The road back to the city glimmers under the glow of endless headlights. The roar of engines, the blare of horns, the rush of crowds, all merged into a symphony of urgency. For many, this noise is burden, pressure, unrelenting pace. But for the student leaving the monastery, it is no longer heavy. He sees the traffic as a river, ever flowing, yet no longer sweeping him away. With each breath, he keeps a quiet refuge within, like a small flame sheltered from the wind, steady, unwavering. Months in the monastery had taught him about breathing, about returning to the present, about observing his mind as one might watch a river flow. At first, he thought such lessons belonged only to the silence of mountains, where bells echoed and footsteps mingled with the wind. But upon returning to the bustling city, he realized these lessons mattered most here. When surrounded by noise and haste, that is when a calm breath, a pause, becomes essential. Once at a family meal, a small debate nearly turned into an argument. The student inhaled, exhaled, recalling his teacher's words. Before you speak, breathe. Before you react, pause. That pause transformed the moment. Instead of fueling conflict, he smiled and listened. The tension softened. He understood then, peace is not about escaping life, but about carrying calm back into ordinary moments of discord. At work, too, amid deadlines and ringing phones, he reminded himself, "Whenever I forget, I only need to return to the breath." Just pausing for a few seconds, placing a hand on his chest, feeling his heartbeat, this reminder of being alive restored clarity. Far from wasting time, these pauses sharpened his mind and made his actions more effective. He realized presence is not withdrawal from life, but living fully within it. The monastery's lessons did not end at its gate. They had only begun.
To be mindful in silence is easy. To be mindful amid the noise of life is the true practice. Learning to swim is not for standing on the shore, but for entering the water without sinking. You too can practice now. Gently close your eyes. Relax your body. Inhale and exhale slowly. Listen to the sounds around you. Traffic, machines, voices. Do not judge. Do not resist. Simply recognize you are hearing. Remind yourself, I am alive in this very moment. Practice pausing for a few seconds during a meeting, at a red light, while preparing dinner. These small pauses become seeds of lasting peace. In the silence, imagine a temple bell tolling in the distance. Its sound grows faint as it drifts into the city's clamor, a thread connecting two worlds, the monastery's stillness and the city's rush. The bell fades, but its resonance lingers in your heart. Meanwhile, gentle music rises, closing softly like a circle complete. The teaching does not end in seclusion, but opens into daily life, where you continue walking with presence in each moment. The student understood that the path is not outside of life. Practice is not escape, but integration, bringing wisdom and peace into speech, actions, relationships. Amid the city's rush, he could keep his mind like a still lake, reflecting but not swept away. And this is the path each of us can walk, beginning with one breath, one smile, one pause in daily life. If you know how to return to the breath, to pause and feel life, you realize peace is not distant. It does not require remote monasteries or perfect conditions. It is here, in the heart of the city, within the noise, if you know how to listen. Then life is no longer a whirlpool sweeping you along, but a path you walk with presence, peace, and freedom.